Hey everybody, welcome to episode 157, I think, of Tactical Crouch. Kickedtripod here with Yiska and Volamel, coming at you on a Monday of all days. It's been a busy new year for a lot of reasons. Ended up falling behind at work on Wednesday when we were going to do our show, and of course, then Wednesday happened. If you live in the United States, you especially know what happened then. So there went my whole day. So then, I'm like, well, I'll do it on Thursday. Thursday felt just as crazy. So then we're just like, let's just do Monday. So here we are on Monday, doing Tactical Crouch. I don't know if I said it already. Kickedtripod here with Yiska and Volamel to talk about all the Overwatch League stuff going on. Before we do, we have a few things, but I want to thank our Patreon producers first. Big thank you to our Patreon producers: Refined Bean, Ferdino Pin, Battlecrab Lotion, Rex Zane, Audio Compass, Kasha67, Sharp Picasso, Nathan Your Misery, Hunter Tane, Fabled Steven, Roger B, Owen, Chris R34444, Horbjorn. I listen to this podcast whilst on the toilet, in the shower, thinking of Yiska, Peace Camper, Anxiety Pokemon, Sir Girthalot, Bronzebot, Boohow, Evan, and Alex S. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you like the show, please go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch where you can support. It's the best way to do it. People ask us all the time, hey, what's the best way to support the show? And honestly, Patreon is, because they take the least amount of money. Whereas like Twitch takes 50%, YouTube, which we'll talk about in a second, takes 30%. So, yeah, and then Patreon takes like 8%, 7%, something like that. So that's the best place to go. And also we have some kind of cool perks and things that automatically tie into the Discord. So patreon.com/tacticalcrouch for that. But kind of in news a little bit about the show, new year, a new platform. We're actually streaming this live at YouTube, youtube.com/tacticalcrouch, with Overwatch League being on YouTube. There's a few advantages for us to try out streaming here. The first one is better like discoverability, because Overwatch League is there and we're primarily an Overwatch League podcast. So there's that aspect of it. The other aspect is a lot of the VOD features are really good on YouTube. So for example, I'm really busy today. I don't know when I'm going to have time to edit the show and upload it all everywhere. But with the VOD, it'll just go onto our channel and you can still watch it there, and you just have to fast forward through some of the pre-show stuff. Way better than waiting hours or days for me to be able to get around to doing that. The quality is higher. You also have like inline channels or inline controls to, like, you miss something that we said, or like you need to step away from the podcast. You could just hit pause and come back and, watch through faster, all that kind of stuff. So
true.
There's a lot of advantages. I mean, the biggest disadvantage is like, there's something just really clean and simple about Twitch's emote system and subscription system and like dashboard type thing for like lower panels and stuff like that. Like, I don't think chat is nearly as good. We are going to be getting our custom emotes. We get 4 of them. And then we're going to be doing kind of equivalent to like Twitch subscriptions. You can do it with YouTube subscriptions, but you can basically set it to be like any level of support. So like $2, I think by default, it's going to be a $2, $5, and $10 a month like sub thing. We'll just try that out. So you don't have to spend $5. It can literally just be $2. So we're going to try that out, see how it works, see how people like it. Chat is a little bit harder, Arkin. I think you're right. But I also just don't know if it's a familiarity thing. So we will figure that out. Yeah, and honestly, this isn't really about the viewer numbers at all. It was kind of like the last thing I considered. I kind of expected viewership numbers to kind of go down for the live show, and it is what it is. But if it makes more sense, on top of just, Twitch certainly has had a lot of issues of their own in 2020. Like, I think a lot of
Imagine not giving us partner. That was.
That's really it. Yeah, they wouldn't give us partner despite hitting all the things.
Yep. Yeah, no, that wasn't the reason, really. But
no, not at all. Yeah, F you, Twitch. You'll never get to make me a partner, which doesn't really benefit you at all and doesn't really hurt you at all.
We kind of really just walked up to some random person on the street and proposed, and they were like, "Nah, dude." And we're like, "Okay, then I'll
you're
burn
lost,
you out."
man. You're lost. There's plenty of other platforms out there.
Yep. That's how it go.
Yeah. Let's take a couple minutes. So, I just want to catch up with you guys. It's been almost 2 weeks. So this is gonna go a little off topic for a little bit. As always, big thanks to Eric for helping out with the timestamps. Those will be in the VOD version of the video. And on YouTube, you can just pause for 15-20 minutes and then come back and fast forward through it. And then it's like DVR. Remember, do you remember the first interaction you had with DVR where you could pause or watch something on demand and fast forward through the commercials? And that was the best part of DVR?
Nope. No offense.
I mean,
never.
My family didn't have DVR, but my neighbors did. And it was game changing.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I've actually watched TV.
I've never, ever, as an adult, or basically not living at my childhood home, had cable television.
Never not.
I've never had it.
Oh.
I've never once had it. I've never paid for a TV package.
Great. It's pretty bad.
It's
I'm missing out on much.
12 years now.
Huh.
12 years.
Now it's got to be pretty nice though, right? With the advent of the streaming boom. Not necessarily Twitch, but the package Disney Plus, the Netflix, the Hulu, all of these shows moving.
I mean, I pay $90 a month on streaming services. Don't get me wrong. This isn't
I don't understand. Subscription are eating me up. It's just sometimes I go through and I go yeah, I have 5. I have 10.
Really?
I have
Are you still paying for those pandas?
No, it's still ice bears.
Oh, I thought it was tigers. I thought I was already wrong.
No, it used to be tigers, but no. It's not even. That's not what I care about. But in Germany,
that
it's
factoring
even
in
worse. No. It's more okay. So Germany is completely destroyed in that regard. For some things, it's great. We have DAZN, and you get all international sports pretty much in one package, especially the American ones. For $10, I can watch everything, literally everything that you would have in premium packages, right? But everything else, if you want to watch Attack on Titan and then I don't know, what's it, Demon Slayer, that's 2 different services. You each pay $10 for a month.
Really?
And then
you can't just subscribe to Crunchyroll or something?
Demon Slayer's only on Hulu. Yeah, so Demon Slayer's on Hulu. Attack on Titan is on Crunchyroll.
Dang,
Fairy Tail is on
too?
Netflix. Lots of good anime on Netflix.
Damn.
They do a lot of good originals. There's this new one. Oh man, I forget what it's called, but it's about a con man, and they're doing these cons. It's really funny. Probably and really cool art style. Yeah.
Then Zygor.
Zygor, I still pay for Zygor too, dude. I can't.
Dude, we should just list it out and just marvel at our stupidity.
I have it listed out. If I take every monthly subscription that I have, that is purely edu or infotainment type stuff, TV subscriptions, podcasts, Patreon to things or whatever else. It's about $190 for me.
Yeah.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, it's just, and some of them you don't even use. I
feel guilty.
I remember like there was some service. It was called like Anime on Demand. It like the UI was atrocious. The one thing it did was it delivers some top tier anime I forgot about, and then I went and split it with a student of mine so we could both watch it, and then I just forgot
That's
about.
illegal.
I'm not sure if it's illegal actually. It's like the two accounts that you get by by doing that.
Just morally.
Oh. Well, I still pay for my entire family's Netflix. I'm the guy that pays the account, by the way. I don't know how I walk into the room and nobody just immediately starts kissing my feet for having
you
paid
paid for the
Netflix for the last
You've
5 years.
probably done
dude.
them enough psychological harm that's the least you could do. Pay for the Netflix.
I'm super
Kiss your
grateful.
feet.
They definitely carried me the last 10 years, so I'm being like a right knobhead, but like, yeah, no. But I'll actually, it would be a fun thing. I don't think I will be manage that to the next show, but at some point I'll bring it up, and whatever I pay, I'll just like put into savings, or we'll do like I've intended to do some get into paper trading at first to just like see how it works, and then
Paper training.
I don't know. That's what we call when you like invest with non-real money, just to see if you would make the right decisions. And
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
what is
I was
that?
like, I know what you're talking about,
Right.
but I was
I don't know if this
so lost on what.
I'm just waiting.
at
Like, I
first.
really think that
It stocks with Monopoly money.
I think that Apple can charge like $100 a month for like the iTunes
what?
catalog.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Really? I
New
don't listen to
movies,
music that much.
Just, I mean, well, Apple. I mean, Apple isn't just. They make more
Mhm.
money from all their other. The music is the least profitable or money generating part of iTunes.
What's the most? Do you know?
Well, I mean, the App Store is
Right.
insane. But the like movies and TV shows does really well because they're on so many platforms now.
Wait, that would be nuts. If you think about it, like I would have to look at the products, but maybe you can just like, maybe that's your one-stop shop, and actually it makes financial sense. Huh. That's, yeah, that would be, wow. Okay, I've like when you named that number, I was like, no, that's
Think of
like,
it this way, dude.
This guy is San Francisco money talking again, but
Apple,
yeah, that
the Apple
makes
App
sense.
Store makes more money every year than the iPad.
Oof.
I mean, that doesn't. Is that surprising?
I don't think
I
so
mean, the
anymore.
profit
I'm numb
margins
to
are
it, but like,
I wouldn't even look at it at profit margin. It's just like the utility of like anything.
and,
I think
and
they
this
also
is not,
shifted
this is
the
not
business
a,
model.
This is not a new thing. This has been for 5-6 years.
Right. I mean,
Like-
that's the same thing that Amazon does with like their Kindle Fire tablets. Like you sell them almost at a loss, but then you assume that they buy into your wholesale system.
But even
right?
then, Apple doesn't, right? Because they're still charging
Yeah.
$500, $600, $800 for an iPad.
Yeah.
You know, like the hardware is still, you know, premiumly priced. They've definitely brought iPad prices down. Like they have like 3 different versions of inexpensive iPads that are like $300 to $400 now. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, is the only way I can, like, I do all my Japanese now, like on my iPad with my Apple Pencil, and it's so good. They do
Yeah.
handwriting recognition for Japanese to English.
really?
Do they have you
Ooh.
write the proper stroke pattern, or do you have to do it in order? I guess.
So yeah, stroke order. Well, we learn proper stroke order. I don't know if like the writing recognition does any
Picks
of
that
that.
up?
But I also do perfect stroke order, so it's hard to tell
Good on ya.
if it doesn't. So, you know, if you're gonna learn it right, hey.
True. Honest to God, you're not wrong.
You know, taking our time. Katie and I are the two dumbest in our Japanese class at this point. So we started with Japanese 1, and there was like 16 people in there, and about
Yeah.
half of them had taken Japanese before, or
Yeah, didn't
spoke
you say
the
you were
language
taking,
at
like,
once.
Extreme course or something.
Well, that was another mistake we made. 'Cause They do an accelerated course where instead of
that's-
7 weeks, it was 5 weeks, and that was dumb. But They only do that for 1 and 2, and then after that, everyone takes the same 7-week course. But so we started out with like 16, and it's like Survivor. We're just started Japanese 5, and we're down to 7 people, and everybody else like
everybody
drops.
drops.
My wife speaks Japanese, or I speak fluent Chinese, and I've been writing kanji for years, and I have 2 Japanese roommates and whatever, or like, oh yeah, I took this all the way through Japanese 9 before, and I'm doing it again. And then Katie and I, first timers, we're the only 2 first timers left who have never learned the language before, who have never done like our kind of the exposure that we've had to Japanese is basically like anime and J-drama, right? So then we're just like 2 weebs who also suck at everything. Everyone's like not needing, like every time we learn a new word and stuff and we go and do the grammar for it, we're like flipping through our books frantically trying to refine what does that mean again and what does it do? And then like other people are like picking their nose and like checking their text messages while we look it up, and we're the dumb ones. But we're gonna take it again. Even if we pass, we know it, and we keep going. I'm just gonna take it again from level 1 and make everybody feel like shit.
I think that's the definition of like weird flex, where it's just like, yeah, I passed this class, but I'm gonna take it again, just to flex on you.
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
For
Please
retention.
do. I mean, to be fair, not a terrible way to just refresh and get back into the swing of things, and maybe learn or pick up some things that you may have forgotten. But there's nothing. Yeah, I guess there is something wrong with like a nice ego stroke, but I guess if you do it in a non-invasive way, I think it's fine. Just for yourself, like, yes, I'm not the dumb one in the class anymore.
Yeah, it's cool though. You should check out if you're like in a city hub or whatever, or near one. You should see if there's any like language learning centers. To the viewers, not to you guys necessarily.
But
because we pay so for like a full 7-week course or whatever, it's like $200, and it's like
for a full week
for 7 weeks.
Oh, that's not bad. Not bad at all.
Not at all. And then our teacher does like supplemental one-on-one sessions that are an hour long for $25 an hour on top of that, which is a steal.
I want to learn the language of mushrooms.
Shut up.
Like the drug?
I want to like, I don't know if there are any courses. My city might just be bougie enough to have that, but like someone to teach me which ones are edible and to be able to go into the forest and pick some. That would be dope.
So you want to become fungus?
No, I want to eat them.
Truffles. You should be a truffle hunter.
Yeah. There you go.
Do you know how much
Truffles
money is
nice.
in truffle hunting? It's like a retirement pastime.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Should I tell a story right now? I'm going to tell a story right now. So for those of you who don't know, like this last year I was exposed to a like 3-star Michelin restaurant. Katie's parents took us and the kids out there. They had it was at French Laundry here in, well, not here, but close in Sonoma. And we went, and one of the options that you could add to your dish was you could either do, I can't remember what it was, some sort of, I think, risotto, or you could do a lobster ravioli topped in truffle. And that was like an extra $130. And again, we're not paying for a dime of this. Our Patreons are. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not paying for a dime of this. But Katie's mom's like, you guys should get the truffle one. We're like, okay. And so they come up and they open up like this box that's worth more than my house. And in it is just like this giant ass truffle. And they like expect us to like, we didn't know what to do. We're like,
you had to like, don't you have to pick it?
No, there wasn't like multiple. They're just like open it up and let you look at it.
Is this a suit your preference, madame?
I was like, wow.
How does it smell?
Like a truffle. I don't know, like kind of
earthy,
rubber.
earthy. Yeah.
earthy
Okay.
rubber
So it
truffle.
smells like it tastes. Okay.
Smells. I mean, I love like truffle's delicious, but
It is.
130. So they go and basically they take like a cheese grater and then they like put it on top of your lobster risotto. So, and we've never done this before, but I just let them put on as much as they want because this is expensive truffle. I'm not going to tell them like
I'm gonna say
stop.
no. Go for it.
Katie thinks that she needs to tell them to say stop. like salt or pepper or something. She's like, that's okay. And the guy just looked at her and went, and kept going on and on.
You paid for this.
He's
You're
like,
getting
no.
it.
You don't get to tell us when you're done with the truffle.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I always feel weird when that happens too. Like I don't go out enough to like have that kind of experience, but like every so often I'll sit down and then somebody will like, do you want cheese? I'm like, no, I'm good. And also, can I just do it? Like this seems really
just like leave
dirty.
the thing. Yeah, just put some Parmesan right there. Put some Newton Valley stuff right there.
You got any like craft in the fridge in the back? Like I'm good, dude. I don't need all this hand twirly bullshittery.
My favorite thing is when you are at like one of those where like you basically like they ask you if you want seconds, and it's like, you know, like because it's like some kind of like, or you want the next, because okay, let's say you have different courses, right? There's very often, at least in our case, that like for instance smaller people or women or like can't get all that food in them, so they're like, I'm good here, right? Okay. And my favorite thing when someone asks me, are you ready for the next course, is to just look down at my belly and then look back at them. Go, what do you think? I don't verbalize that, but like it's just the message that, yeah, I'm always ready for food, my dude.
I need to tell you though, you have the same awareness of doing that as you do doing this. Like,
true.
You know what's also down there, right? Like you just like,
not
what
wrong.
do you think?
Oh my god, I have the. Yeah, no, that's a piece. That's unfortunately not a PC story. No, I can't tell it here, but
is that a game night story? Yeah,
that is a game night story. Like it's of my uncle who was a truck driver and didn't understand French and didn't know what he was talking to people locally.
The
so
French don't understand French.
No, it was a hilarious story that he only realized what he did literally 10 years after. So yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, we wasted enough of your time, chat.
Let's go.
and viewers, thanks again for hanging out with us on YouTube for the first time. Let's actually talk about some Overwatch stuff. And I think the big one that I want to talk about is saying, what's the damn it, I had a clever way and I don't have it now. So we'll say saying ANSwiedersehen instead of ANSwiedersehen. Not bad, right?
Nice.
That's German.
I don't know what you wanted to say, but
I think I had a cleverer way
now.
to say it, and you know, it's got roots in German.
It's German now. We accept it. I officially did it for the country of Germany.
Anyways, Ons has retired, which feels really surprising to me. I did not see this one coming at all. It feels like they had an amazing debut year in the Overwatch League and should continue on doing so. But they are not. So number one, like, what are your reactions to Ons leaving? And number two, how does this affect how you view the San Francisco Shock going into the 2021 season?
I'm still kind of, I guess, not processing. That seems way more dramatic than it really lets on. But we kind of have to be honest with ourselves regarding Ons. Like, no. I really don't know if there are too many people outside of like Decay and a select few others that have shown this kind of potential to kind of like really dominate a game. And it's not this grandiose, like, oh, you're a really good DPS player and you perform well. Like, this is somebody who's putting up numbers that like bar absurdity or like near absurdity. The notion that the game is getting more refined and thus hit scan or these dedicated hit scan roles can be mitigated, I think in general I agree with. But when you have a player like an Ons, when you have a player like a Decay, like a KSP, for instance, it doesn't matter how much you think you can maneuver around and try to have these, you know, bulletproof rotations. They're gonna find those openings that, you know, are consistent in human error and abuse you. And that's the type of player that Ons was at this point. So is it unfortunate that we're losing such a great talent? Yeah, I'd have to say so. Now, in regards to the shock, that I'm still kind of weighing out. I don't know if you have much more of an opinion on that. I think it would be, I don't think it's too hot of a take to say that it probably takes them down a little bit, but not by much. Like, they have plenty of DPS players capable of filling shoes, but to fill those specific shoes might be difficult. Obviously, Glister is an obvious, you know, nod here that you could slot in and he'd do extremely well. But can he dominate as much as somebody like an Ons can? Or does he bring a different tool set that could also be valuable in its own way? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think, okay, so this information was in the ether for a while. And I was like, you know, rubbing my hands going like, oh yeah. Like, okay, no, this sounds wrong because I guess I should start framing it this way. I have a soft spot for people with a story like Ans. People that really care, are excellent at whatever they do, and have one or the other thing in themselves that they need to slay first in order to get there, or have succeeded despite those demons, right? Yeah. That's why I always had a soft spot for the friend, for instance.
I know you talked a lot about Pine for a long time. I think there's a specific interview that really kind of touched you, and in a kind of a similar way, I'd say that Ons is not comparable to Pine or vice versa. But yeah.
No, these types of personalities, I would certainly, if you're an Overwatch strictly fan, you probably don't know that person, but Rekful was one of those types of characters, and they have a special place in my heart. I feel protective of them because they have it hard, and I want them to succeed, but I also don't want them to suffer through whatever they're doing, right? So for someone like Ans to go out at that time is probably like, it's like he could have, like, for absolute epic value, could have released that news like a week after the season ended. I don't think he knew by then, but like that would have been like peak epic, just like, you're a baller, bro.
When I'm done, mic drop.
Yeah. But theoretically speaking, I had my concerns, like having already worked through the emotion of, okay, we're probably going to lose this play as well next season. Then going like, okay, so the good thing about this is that you finally have something to point out towards the San Francisco Shock that they're lacking. Sure, Striker has had a widow, but how does that hold up now? Like, there's a clear weakness. Ans was incredible. I don't really see how anyone steps out big time from the roster that they already have. And then they signed Glister, which I didn't know that was a possibility. So now I feel like it's going to hurt. I don't think Glister can be expected to have like the absolute incredible peaks on Widow that Ans had. Possibly close. I think in everything else it's over, dude. In everything else it's over.
That's like, the only
what I'm saying with Glister specifically. I'm not saying Shock. I'm saying with every other hero pick, theoretically, I think it's over. I think Glister has incredible talent. I think we haven't seen half of what he's capable of, and that is like, I don't know. I think that's it's like, it's weird to think because, okay, which player joined the Shock that was already like absolutely one of the top tier guys before they received Krusty's coaching? Like you could maybe like
for Krusty.
Yeah, perceptionally, it would maybe be like Raskell was probably held in high regards, but he was also benched on Spitfire, and then didn't even play.
Dallas.
Right.
Yeah. Striker.
Well,
I mean,
Striker
he started with
had
Boston.
season 1 Boston, which was
Yeah.
Krusty. So
Yeah, no, there's nobody, right?
Violet, maybe.
I don't think Violet was that amazing at that time, or considered that amazing. I would say maybe we had good things to think about Choi at the time already.
I would say so, but
Choi, Architect, those guys were not.
I'm
Oh,
biased.
Twilight is the easy answer. Yeah, yes. No, Twilight is the right answer. That's ding, 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 right? Like that's the one guy. And of course, Violet is ahead.
I didn't include Twilight because they were only there for half the season.
Right. But like my idea is like, okay, so you brought all these relatively known names into absolute top tier elite world type of status. So what if your baseline is this guy's already like one of the better, like A+ tier level players on a roster that supposedly wasn't as coached as well, even on a contenders team that probably wasn't coached as well. What can that guy with a higher base achieve?
Sure.
And I think like for me, other than possibly, let me think about this, like from a base talent perspective, I think Architect is up there. Ans is certainly up there. But I think Violet is like, it depends on how you define talent, because I think he's just like super mega hard grindy. And that's a talent in itself. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if any player that that ever joined the Shock, other than Twilight, had a higher stepping stone moving up than like higher baseline to start from. I think it's going to be unreal, like in terms of what Glister will be able to accomplish. So in that regard, I think they're already pretty covered in that. They'll use a hell of a cool character though.
Yeah.
Like talk about like a cool as hell guy, just like cool brand, not really controversial in that regard. I don't know, like that's, and then of course, like I hope it improves his situation as well. Being able to cope and maybe find things that are equally as satisfying and as enjoyable, while being able to not have the down swings that he must have had, according to the whatever the Shock have been saying. So yeah. I'll be looking forward to what Ans does next.
Basically, can't help but echo that same point. Hopefully, he finds what he's looking for, and best wishes. We loved you while you were here, type of deal.
Yeah. Let's man. Oh yeah. Hey, this is something that we should probably talk about. Barroi has found a new home with the Boston Uprising.
Yeah.
And people have asked. They said, I wonder if it will make Kicked go easier on Toronto in the 2021 season. The answer is no. I hope they get 21st. But actually, I doubled down. Actually, I hope
even farther.
I hope that they are so bad. They're so bad that mid-season, the Overwatch League adds a Toronto Defiant relegation clause. And we end up getting some great academy team playing in their place. That is my hope for the Toronto Defiant in 2021.
Nice. Look at this witch over here trying to curse him.
I mean, this is another move that gives me a weird twinge of confidence towards Boston, where I'm like, okay, you're making some moves. I'm not ready to jump on board yet, but this is definitely, the wind is sailing in the right direction. Like this is a good sign. Yeah, I'm tentatively interested. Obviously, wish him the best of luck. Hopefully, he does very well there. Wish Boston nothing but the best, as well as any other team in the league. But
Except the Defiant.
Sure.
Hope it's the worst. I hope that when you ask for them to stop giving you truffles, they actually stop giving you truffles.
Wow.
Defiant fans.
Your truffle
can't do
givers
it. Logic's still there. Doesn't work. It's still a disciple of tracking.
It's true. It's been immortalized.
Yeah.
You need to open up a prayer for the 2021 season for him.
Might have to, re-erect the shrine. And
or you erect that shrine.
Is that not what you do with a shrine?
It is, but could use other words, I suppose.
Isn't that what you do with a shrine that entails the thing that usually erects?
I'm gonna play the fifth on that one. John, take us away.
Let's not use the word erect in the episode. We're on YouTube now. They're much better at like scraping those terms, and yeah. Oh.
Are you just uncomfortable and just saying that?
They will erect a copyright strike or something against us or something like that. Or they might just erect a DMCA. Maybe they end up erecting a not suitable for advertisers. And then we have to direct our ads.
To our Patreon.
Do you think they think water bottle drinking is rude?
The way that you do it? Yeah, they might.
No reason. Just asking.
Yes, Boston, best of luck. Continue moving, please.
Let's go, Boston! I believe again. I'll bust out my shirt. I've got it over.
What Boston shirt did you buy?
Season
Striker?
1. Remember when they came up very early season 1 with the gray shirts? Everybody's was gray, and then they had the logo on the front, and that was
vaguely.
And then the text logo on the back. I have a Boston Uprising shirt of that.
Just like no player?
No, it's like it's a t-shirt.
It's just like a tee
it's a
for
t-shirt.
the team. Yeah.
Right.
So when I said t-shirt, I actually meant t-shirt.
Do you pretend like I listen to every word you say?
You don't listen to me anymore.
Ain't that
Yiska, and I think that's a conversation that we should have right now. Let's have it.
Well, let me get my Ritalin to be like, yeah, no.
Wait.
Did you just out that you take Ritalin?
I don't.
Do you?
I didn't really care if you did. I just thought
Are you somehow implying that I am too long-winded?
No. What I'm saying is my brain is two squirrels trying to bury nuts they will never find again.
All right.
Oh, there's the German squirrel meme.
Therefore, I'm unable to listen to people for an extended amount of time.
Apology accepted.
Was I the one that asked you to have your friend say squirrel?
I think that's the thing with Germans that they're
you can't say squirrel.
Squirrel.
Can you say penguin?
Penguin.
Yeah, penguin's fine.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch can't say penguin.
Really? What does he say?
He's like, is penguin. Penguin.
Isn't he like English?
He is English.
Is he English? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Or tangential thought.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, where were we going with that? Oh yeah, so Boston. This is a signing that makes a lot of sense for me for Boston. Barroi always seemed like somebody who could bring a lot of value to a team's roster via stats and analytics, and Boston feels a lot more like a value-based organization. In that you want to, find that number where you underpay and overperform. Not like underpay, but you know what I'm saying, right? And I feel like Barroi would be really good at that. And I feel like Defiant just didn't do enough good scouting. And I think that Boston has shown in the past that they can, scout and get some really great players, whereas
For sure.
Toronto, it was it was just kind of like academy graveyard and of Western players, and I don't know what that strategy was or looked like, or
At least for
whose that
2020.
was, but
Should I? It's almost, to me, it's a return to the roots for the Uprising, because let me draw the parallels, and maybe I'm a little bit taking it too far, but they kept their hybrid roster. I actually haven't watched WGS enough to be able to really assess like whatever that team looked like in terms of like how well coached it was, but certainly the aura surrounding Laurie is like almost like that's the next big Korean coach coming into the league.
Really?
And then who, so they had Krusty, of course, in season 1. You know who they also had? Gunba. Who's also pretty much interestingly similar to Gunba?
Barroi.
Is Barroi. So in that regard, I feel like the similarities are there. Kept the hybrid roster. I don't think too many other parallels. Like I think they're not really going to get like any super underestimated players. Additionally, I think that those were rather players like that were known to be good. So that's a departure, I suppose. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is what's this?
My bad. My bad.
Emergency end.
I thought it like the curtain was being pulled on me.
Wrap it up.
That's a really good idea, but no, that was just me hitting the buttons wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. Like what Boston will be able to do. I already ranked them. Was it 7th or 8th in NA? Yeah, so I think 7th. Should be interesting.
Out of 13 or 12?
13.
13? Yeah.
So middle.
Upper lower half.
Okay, I'll ask this later because I'm not sure if that thought's necessarily stream ready yet. But with regarding to kind of what you're saying about like Gunba and Boston and Barroi, this is I definitely kind of resonate with that idea of this team returning to their roots, because not only does this team, at least historically, have a good record. We can poop on the Boston Uprising all we want performance wise. That's out in the open,
and we do.
We definitely do, right? But what you can't take away from them is they do scout well. They're probably one of the only teams throughout these past 4 years, or 3, depending on how you view this next season, right? If we're going into it, or regardless. What they do well is that they scout incredibly well. Sometimes they miss. They have plenty of misses, but they seem to hit in particular areas, be it main tank, be it flex support. Those are the 2 ones that I really give credit towards whoever is scouting for this team, whether it was Gunba, Huck, whoever, have to give credit where credit's due. And in that same way, I think Barroi definitely has that same kind of eye where he'll just rattle off a bunch of names that you really you might have heard of, but he kind of holds in like a weirdly high regard. So I think if they wanted to continue with that in the future, I think that plays within their wheelhouse really, really well. Thinking back to 2019 Toronto Defiant, obviously Barroi worked with that team as well. Had a lot of potential stars, had a lot of potential on that team. Obviously now some of that is either still within or rejoining the league, namely Yakpom, Ivy, people that are going to do well. The Toronto Defiant had and let go. Whether it's mismanagement, what have you, can't really comment on it. But that kind of attribute now can be applied, I think, with what evidence we have seen. Can be given to the Boston Uprising now moving forward, as long as the 2 parties stay together. And I think it's a weird kind of fit. So it's a good fit. It seems to work. They both like align with each other very well, I think. At least from the outside looking in. I have no idea what's going on behind closed doors, but again, it's an interesting vote of confidence. It's a move that, no Barroi, no, he does good work. Boston Uprising needs somebody in that, not front office, but needs that front office team to be a little bit more solid and kind of lead this team to some wins, because let's face it, they have the players to be able to at least get some wins, namely Myeonbong. Now we've got soon Stand One coming in. I think is going to, be surprising. I am 37. I'm a little gun shy on just because of his last performance within the league, but interested to be proven wrong. Punk, absolute stud last season. Thought he was a big reason why they came in and had that little brief moment of success. Boston looking pretty nice. I'm maybe not playoffs, but a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah. There's at least one more team I want to talk about this week, and that's the London Spitfire, who have kind of solidified up their roster as far as we know to this point. Let's take a look at this here. Hybrid, Sparker, Blase, Hattie, Molf, Ripa, and Kellex. Nuki did not oversell this roster.
Nope. But not bad. I don't think this team will be bad. If anything, I think I get Valiant vibes from this roster. Not only because they're led by a former Valiant coach, and Reprise, but because this team is very likely to overperform what people are estimating them. Now, I will say, I think there are plenty of, contenders heads who are overestimating them.
Yes.
And just thinking that they're going to crush everybody and running with the narrative that for a long time, there have been contenders teams that can compete and probably were better than Overwatch League teams, which is true. This season in particular, however, things are a little bit different. I'm not saying that they're going to be last by any means. I do think they're going to overperform like the general consensus on how strong this team is in the general populace view.
I think I agree.
But I don't know. I feel like I need to temper expectations, seeing some of these comments regarding like the legacy of British Hurricane and whatnot. Like, yeah, of course, like you have to give them credit. They dominated domestically incredibly for a long time. Moving into the Overwatch League,
it's a different
level
game.
of competition.
Yeah, it's a whole different game. And that's not, even if they don't. So Yiska, where did you have him in your power rankings?
I think 11th in NA.
11th in NA. Where would you have him like overall if you had to just
Globally.
ballpark it right now? Like what, 17, 18?
Yeah, 17.
I think that they're going to outperform that a little bit. I really do.
Yeah.
Just like on the face of it, I think that they're going to outperform that a little bit. But I think it's also, even if they don't, even if that is what they come down to, that is not a bad season by any means for Nuki and her staff. I think that would be right in expectations. I would hope that would be right in with what they planned on spending there. And it's very clear that especially in contenders, there are a lot of people who are a fan of these players and a fan of these rosters. And I think that also plays into their favor. The London Spitfire are set up to succeed in this season, not because they put together the best winning roster, but because they put together, number one, they were super transparent about it. Number two, they built a grassroots organization that I think really honors the competitive Overwatch landscape and the people who have really fed it and nurtured it when everybody else is watching the, like, I don't want to call it like nepotism, but you know what we kind of saw in on a few teams in coaching and GM roles of that kind of like, it's not how good you are, it's who you know type thing. That is not what this is. And that is not what this team is. And that's not what it stands for. And I'm really excited for, I think that they are a team that can do well. I think that they've got a few aces up their sleeve as far as ways that they could not just like, finish. Oh, you know what? We finished 16th, or 15th. Like there are some ways where I think that this is a team that, like finds a way to squeak up to 12. Because I think that some of these other franchises are a little weak and are a little set up to like, it just takes that one thing to throw them off and then they're off.
Yeah.
And so
to kind of
I'm really excited about this team, and not because I think that they're going to be a playoff team, not because I think they're going to win the league, but I feel like this roster really respects competitive Overwatch, even as a team that is lower half.
Yep. I think that's very well said. Like I remember now, I think it kind of fell on deaf ears on my end with like the Crusher 99, hype video coming into the league and, the ups and downs of a professional career. But I really do look at the London Spitfire and the British Hurricane and everything that, Cloud9 and obviously Guinevere Capital, now with these days, what they've created, what they're operating right now, I think is definitely true to the spirit of that video. True to the spirit of Overwatch. And in that way, I do think that this team is kind of the torchbearer of an EU renaissance in a way. I look at this team in the same way. My League of Legends history is not as well versed as others, so forgive me if this is not or lands poorly. But I look at this team as the kind of spearhead to see a potential EU final push. Like in a few years, if this continues its course and they have this grassroots contenders, trickle up system, and they can properly scout talent, and they have done so in the past, and this roster is the fruits of that effort, I see the London Spitfire returning to the finals in, I'd say, 3 to 4 years. And I'm willing to probably place a bet on that. I think that.
Are we going to be doing this show in 3 to 4 years, guys?
I would hope so. I'd like to do so, but hopefully as long as Overwatch is around in 3 to 4 years. But
I'd be 35, 34 to 35.
I'm not in my 40s yet, so I might.
Is 40s when you're hanging it up?
Yeah.
I probably would want some either like backroom producer deal, or I'm going to an insurance company and just sell my morals for a healthy chunk of change.
Fair enough.
No, I think
somebody keep track of this bet. Say, remind me in 4 years. And then see how the London Spitfire are doing, and also see if we're still doing a show, and just tweet at me at Kickedtripod. I promise I won't change it.
I believe in that. Like they're sowing the land right now. This is like a building year, and that kind of aligns with a lot of the tempering of the expectations, kind of not going budget, but playing within their means, realigning success and redefining it to, their own means, still investing in contenders, still investing in Overwatch. If this game is still around, and hopefully it is, knock on wood, but I think they're doing it right. And there's going to be fruits to come from that. If not this season, in the next, and the next, and the next, as long as the system and the mechanics of this team and this organization continues forward. I truly believe that 100%. Title is in their future. Distant, but not too distant. Good blueprint to follow, I think, for probably any esport.
I can honestly say the only team I'm not excited about is the Toronto Defiant.
There you go. Oh God.
That's
Really?
the only team.
You're excited about Vancouver?
Vancouver. They didn't fire Barroi, did they?
No, they just kind of fired the most beloved team in the world, but yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I don't talk. I'm a Minnesota Wild hockey fan, so I try not to say the word Vancouver, and I try not to think about Vancouver.
There you go. That works.
And which is ironic because the company that I work with now is based out of Victoria,
Based in
which is
Vancouver.
right outside of Vancouver, just a ferry ride away. But Vancouver isn't paying me. Victoria is. Yeah. The Titans have done nothing to personally offend me.
Right.
Is I think where I'm at right now. Hire Yiska and then fire him, and then we'll.
Yeah, right. Then we'll have some personal grievances to play up on.
And then you will know the wrath. Okay.
Speaking of Vancouver, though.
All right.
What a bizarre team.
We haven't really talked about Vancouver. How have we?
I mean,
you know what?
Is there much to talk about?
Like whether intentionally or not, I haven't even really looked at Vancouver. Let's talk about this a little bit. Dalton, Linkser, Teru, Shredlock, FRD, Rolf, and Fire.
And they have Flubby.
Did they just take like the scrim squads from other teams and just make an Overwatch League team out of this?
I don't understand.
It's a bizarre team because there's a lot of individual pieces that I like. Like I remember seeing Dalton and contenders doing well. Obviously, links are not much needs to be said there. I like Fire. I believe I've seen Teru around every once in a while, but
which is weird, right? Why is an O2 Blast? What's an O2 Blast player doing here?
That's a weird one, yeah. I'm pretty sure they just like missed on their first two 6 chance on flex CPS, which to be fair, a lot of teams definitely didn't get their first, second, third pick this season, and then it's just where it landed, right? I also heard different names connected to that org. I think they were like in negotiations or interested in 2 other players that were then eventually signed with Overwatch League teams. So it makes sense that they just got way down the totem pole in terms of like their priority picks.
Do you think that regarding the priority picks, we've obviously seen teams, primarily the San Francisco Shock, kind of stepping out and really forming their own value as an organization and kind of creating, I think, a narrative that you, Yiska, have been kind of dancing around for a long time is that, good systems attract good players. It doesn't necessarily have to be money. It can be other, forms of attraction in a way. On the flip side of that, is there any semblance or any weight to the idea that with the way that the runaway situation was handled may have dissuaded Korean players from joining the Titans? Is there any consideration of that?
I mean, first off, you got to be able to support that from a coaching staff perspective. I also definitely think that it's probably a consideration, although sometimes I think like after a specific tragedy strikes, that plays sort of like, like a corner store that gets robbed. It's probably the most secure afterwards because like you take measures in order to make sure to never get robbed again, right?
Right.
So I'm not sure if any measures were taken, if lessons were learned org-wide. But yeah, I think it's just I don't want to interpret anything into whatever is happening there.
100%
based on that. Yeah, I could imagine that that's the case. I don't know if it's going to be a future problem for them. I think they did overperform expectations last season already. I think they failed to in terms of like with their rebuild.
Yeah, of course.
I think they failed to secure the win condition that they had by not getting Shockwave for another year.
I mean, that was a tough ask, to be fair.
I don't understand why you have to rush to sign Shredlock and Rolf in the early offseason when you must know that this is like the season where talent is still being disseminated around. I think they negotiated
that last season already.
Did they?
I
guess I could look.
I think that was, yeah, because they both were signed in the original squad, right? To replace the previous Titans, right?
Yeah.
Suppose it's possible.
Were they on like a 1+, or 1+1, and then wasn't Shockwave just on a 1?
I don't know the formalities of what you can and cannot do between like a commitment to like signing them to a 1+1 versus signing to the rest of the season with the promise of signing next season, or like this is the plan, this is the offer. Like there's, at least in like traditional sports, there's definitely a lot of room for negotiation and other ways to to have a contract outside of just 1+1, 2+1, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, we even know this with Overwatch League players, signing contracts based on business class for flying, which oops, that ended up going in the way of teams. I think they went out on that one. They had to buy buy 3 flights. But there's a lot of different ways that you can negotiate contracts in the Overwatch League. And in the same way, the fact that these players were signed and re-signed so early, to me, and again, no inside information.
No, you make a good point, though.
If Bench Mob was here right now, he'd be saying, John, you idiot, shut up. But like, this feels like something to me that was predetermined, and that's why it was decided so fast versus this is the future of the organization.
So the one thing that speaks against it is what Eric pointed out, like being like, okay, they activated the +1, so they took up the contract option. You can, of course, during the season, as for instance Andy Miller has talked about, sign new contracts during the season with existing talent that you have. Therefore, that would then have to say, okay, sign to an existing contract. Now, what could happen is that what John said isn't wrong. It's just not contractual obligation, but like a handshake agreement at the end of the or late into the season, going like, we want you two back next year. In which case, that's entirely not better at all. Like,
and
I don't know
where can I give you my tinfoil hat theory?
Right.
This is a franchise in waiting. This is like, so I've been at a company before that wasn't sure if they were going to keep making products or sell. What do you do at that point? You minimize costs, do your bare minimum, put together a team. We aren't seeing a whole lot of marketing. We aren't seeing a whole lot of communication. We aren't seeing very exciting signings, and not even that the players aren't exciting, but like build the hype, like the intention around building hype and excitement around your roster, to me feels like a front office / ownership team going, we're not out because we either can't or we're just not ready yet, but we're chilling.
Yeah. It does feel
tell
kind of
Overwatch, like, what's the point of, investing a ton here and winning a championship if Overwatch 2 sucks or whatever else? We never end up doing LANs again because COVID is permanent and is going to keep adapting forever, and we're never going to go outside again.
Right.
Like, I don't.
Good point.
I there's a part of me that this is the one team that I look at, that not the one team, but this is a team that I look at and say, like, what are they doing here?
What if we all get the vaccines and everyone gets the superpower, or like everyone gets the superpower of teleportation, and then everyone can set their Tinder range to infinite? Nobody's really working anymore.
That's why in my tactical crouch contract, I negotiated business class flights and business class teleportation. So,
right, yeah, yep.
Why do you put up with us, chat, with analogies like that? Like, why are you here? I wonder that. I'm gonna peer behind the curtain, just ask y'all, like, why'd you buy tickets?
There's literally 103 people here right now.
Y'all crazy. Love you, but wow. I enjoy the sport though. Thank you.
The guess. They just said they're just like for the guess.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it's the guess, boys.
It's the guess.
That's one of the ones that has so much truth to it that it hurts a little bit in my
it's
heart.
the knife.
Like, ow,
the twisting knife. The twisting knife. Oh.
Well, joke's on you because you're still here and there's no guest, dipshit.
There's no guess. I think that's
I mean, you knew. We announce it when there's a guess.
we're due for one too.
If you bring in the same money coming in 5th as you do coming in 20th, why invest?
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's not totally wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, in like traditional sports, there's always just like these giant waggling gray-haired white guy penises flopping around, and they just want to show everyone how huge it is. But in esports, that isn't quite the case yet. So, anyways, there goes our monetization for the
yeah,
game.
right. To your point, though, I could see this team selling at some point if they don't really kind of start to have a vision, because it is very in the most literal and figurative way out of touch, where it's like even some of the stuff that I'm seeing, it's just like, but why? Who asked?
If somebody from the Vancouver Titans are listening to this right now, front office, owner, I don't care, whoever, we are so confused by what you are doing with your organization that we think that you might be positioning to sell.
Yeah. That should kind of tell you a lot. I'm not. I see the eyes, but I'm not sure what they mean though.
Yeah, no, I'll refrain from talking about it because
that's fair.
That's not to say that, like, I think someone in my position, like whatever I say, would just assume I have a background knowledge that I don't want to like give away at this time. That doesn't mean that, by the way, just to give you a scenario, that doesn't mean at all that this is sort of like, yeah, it's happening, because it could very well be the case that I knew that they tried to throw tons of money around in the league and just didn't get anyone because of their reputation, right? Very, very possible that that's also the case.
That is the case. And again, and that's why I want to be very clear. I'm not saying you're not trying or you're quitting.
Yeah.
that's what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not difficult to battle those perceptions. If like, let's say for let's just say Yiska is exactly right, and they tried to throw a bunch of money around. They couldn't. People didn't want to go to a team that it's as volatile. They're obviously the ownership is really under scrutiny from the Overwatch League team. They got offers from better things, and they're just like, this is the best that we could get and we could sign. That's a video. Yeah. That's a tweet longer. That's a Reddit thread. That's content. That's something that you are obligated to create. I mean that. You're obligated to create that. If that's the case. And if you're not, you're not very good at running this organization. And you should rethink it.
I would agree.
Transparency. When has transparency like that ever hurt organizations or individual content creators?
Can't really think of one. I think you get pushback, but
you get pushback. You might get people unhappy with it,
but that's better than nothing.
Which, again, I think that it also aligns a little bit more with like they're like looking at a way out.
Feels like it.
That's the only reason when you wouldn't be like, you know what, we decided that these players are the players that we want to go with the year before we sell. Like that type of transparency is obviously awful for Overwatch League, for your organization, for the players themselves, and you bury that.
Yep.
But then the assumption is when you're burying, when you are saying nothing, the assumption is that you're burying bad news.
Yep. So it's again, it should be no shock, or it should say something to any of the viewers or the listeners that like you kind of forget about the Titans. What have they done? What have they really? I mean, like, yeah, Linkser's cool, I get it. I see where everybody, you know, he's very likable, you know, big anime, you know, good player by a sizable metric, but that can't be your brand, right? Like that can't just be it. That's it feels weird. It feels very bizarre. I hope they do well, but
just like the great American high school football film with Denzel Washington, Will Patton, Wood Harris, Ryan Hurst. Remember the Titans. I want to remember the Titans.
Oh, see, I'm a remember the Titans. You remember them? Because I don't.
No, remember them. Remember stage 1, stage 2,
oof,
season
my heart
2,
breaks.
Stage playoffs. Remember the Titans.
They had it. They could have rode off into the sunset and just been fantastic. But unlucky, I guess. I don't know.
Man,
is it only, only Twilight that's currently on the team? Slime as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's also kind of a sign of the times and a sign of Overwatch as well. Won't, you know, get on my soapbox, but yeah, Soman 2. That's true. Soman 2.
Oh yeah, Soman 2. Yep.
Shout
one chat. So 3. That's not that bad. I guess you could
bad,
say
but it's not great.
Guess you could say Repel, but come on.
That didn't really count, though, did it?
Yeah.
No offense to him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wait, no. That's right. Janu was with Justice.
Yeah.
Stitch, same.
Yep. Hoxell's gone.
So far, Hoxell's gone.
Bumpa gone.
Yep. We have a very unique problem that I at this point I don't know that Blizzard knows how to fix.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully we can kind of stop the bleeding, because
yeah, no, that's
we're hemorrhaging a lot of history.
We gotta, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's it's hard in esports in general at the moment to like amass long-term fandom. And it takes like special people, and there's also the draw from streaming is ever so present.
100%.
And yeah, we got to figure it out. Like honestly, like a lot of attention is just drawn to streaming at the moment. It's just
I think there are elements from that we can adopt to esports just as a whole, because I don't think this is a specific Overwatch problem. I think it's a problem in Overwatch at the severity and the frequency that it happens. I don't find it all that bizarre that CS is having such a wake up in terms of, you know, mental health and burnout and whatnot. It happens everywhere, but we have it particularly bad. Why? You know why, at least from my perspective.
Yeah. I wonder, like, maybe my perception of who Overwatch fans are is completely off, but in my mind, it's like, we have a demographic that's just so done with having like super crisp and like professional production and be wowed that way. It's almost like we're even less up for that than other scenes like CSGO would be and like League of Legends would be. Maybe that's an age thing. Maybe that's just the type of people they are. I think there's something about tone to be said. Like I don't know where to set Overwatch options, but I think in general we're in a time where we're like super fed up with like just being fed brand marketing.
Oh, for sure.
Like having overused adjectives, meaningless, like pristine nature, everything polished, rehearsed, that type of stuff is just done. And now we got to find like new interesting stuff that has a charming unprofessionalism about it that's still somehow monetizable towards like that demographic, because we don't want to be so serious about everything.
Oh, 100%. I think esports in general is facing like a seriousness crisis in that way, where it doesn't need to be all that serious. But when it is serious, it should be treated serious. Yeah. When it's not, and you can be charming, 100% go for it. And I feel like that's where at least the league has shifted towards. With, you know, obviously the first edition of Watchpoint coming out, very casual, very not super serious, very conversational, lots of banter, lots of skits. You know, it was very accessible in a lot of ways, which is great. I think we probably need that back, and I think it would be a good kind of step forward, especially with the Overwatch League content creation. But I think a lot of crossover fans with Overwatch into League or Overwatch into CS, I think they see some of the, or Overwatch into Valorant rather. I think they see the big grandiose like performances and these big like trailers and hype, you know, these things that generate hype. And I think I speak for a lot of people that they look at that and say like, oh man, I wish we had that. That'd be kind of cool. Like you can already start to piece together all the Overwatch League, like lore and legends of, you know, what have you. I think they look at that and go, yeah, I like our charming, you know, bantery stuff, but that'd be kind of cool. That'd be nice. That'd be sweet. And it's not like Blizzard can't do it. They could do it, but I don't know. Just weird.
I could almost do a whole episode, so I'm not going to talk about it now, but I think that Overwatch League has a real identity crisis in their content. And I mean that at the individual level, the player level, and then as well as at the league level, because there's been a lot of really shitty content that has gotten incredible amounts of views. There's a lot of pristine content, some of the best content that the league has had, that it was really under consumed. And I have my own thoughts about why that is, but we're not going to do that today. I think this feels like a pretty good episode back.
Yeah, I
just
back on the horse, gentlemen. The 2021 horse
to a new year. The horseman, the horse.
Wasn't it the first episode we did this year?
To the horse.
I don't think so. Wasn't Kenobi start of the year?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Anywho,
I could barely remember what day it is.
Yeah, right. Same.
I can't remember if it was the 31st or the 1st that we did the Kenobi episode.
Welcome. We can't remember what day it is. We're happy to have you, though.
What is eventime? It's a construct.
It really is.
Meant to steal farmers to do crops and tell Yiska when to sleep. That's all time.
True. All relative, you know?
Anyways. Chat, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I really hope you enjoyed it. A lot of people came in with positive comments about being on YouTube. I kind of liked it. Also kind of insane how many of you actually came in and tuned in to watch this live. Yeah, a lot of
first time. A lot of people jumping in chat, you know. That was super cool to see. So, yeah.
So
YouTube kind of comfy.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. There's a lot I have to learn about the platform. But
got a little candle lit, you know. Got some fans in the chat. I have candles on deck. We got this guy. Throw that over there. Hopefully that doesn't break. We got this guy. You know,
candles are too expensive.
I see. This is the perks of having a sister. She doesn't like the smell. I just get them and I light them in. You know, get to have a non-fan stench room.
I'm a diffuser kind of guy.
Oh, that's true. Too bougie for me.
Like, it's way cheaper. Way cheaper. And you can switch up the smells.
Kit though first.
Well, I mean, you spend $20 on the diffuser itself, and then you just buy the oils that you like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really easy. You never have to mess up. I don't like the smell of this candle, or I forgot to blow out this candle, and now the whole candle's gone, or anything else like that, or like, oh shoot, that was a great candle. I wish I had it more.
But there's something like homey about like having just like a little campfire. I don't know.
No disagreements. No disagreements there. Chat, thanks again so much for hanging out. For all of you who tuned in for the show today, big thank you to our patron producers: Refine Bean, Fredino Pin, Battlecrab Lotion, Rex Zane, Audio Compass, Kasha67, Sharp, Picasso, Nathan Misery, Hunter Tainfable, Steven, Roger B.O., and Chris R34444. Horby, on our list of this podcast, will send the toilet in the shower. Thank you, Yiska, Peace Camper, Anxiety Pokemon, Sir Girthalot, Bronzebot, Boo How, Evan, and Alex S. Thanks so much for your support. If you like the show, please go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch. You can also support us on Twitch by going to Twitch and subscribing there. That's where I do my personal podcasts. And we may be back there for Tactical Crouch, or maybe we'll go to Volamel, or maybe we'll go to Yiska's. I don't know anymore. What is this reality? I don't know.
Life.
Why would we go back to mine anymore?
True.
I don't want it on my personal. Why should it be on my personal channel? It just makes my numbers look bad when I actually do stream, and I'm all depressed. But yeah, you can still go there. Otherwise, patreon.com/tacticalcrouch is a great way to support the show for as little as $1 a month. And if you're like, you know what, I don't want to give you guys money, I don't blame you. I consume a lot of content, and I don't give 90% of them money, and that's totally okay. But if you do still want to find a way to support, besides following the channel, subscribing on YouTube, following twitter.com/tactical_crouch, and all of us individually, you can leave a 5-star iTunes review, and that's totally free. And that does help a ton for getting recognition, for getting up in the algorithm. When people search for Overwatch or Overwatch League, they find our podcast earlier and easier. So that's a great way to do that. Big thanks again to everyone for hanging out. Yiska, shout outs for the week. Where can people find you?
Well, as always, I do like GG Recon stuff there. Really working on more like things that will be going long term. Staying true to Overwatch with the video features for now, is my understanding. We're like the interview that I did is going to come out probably this week. It was a sweet interview. I think that one will also be pretty. It was spicy, I think, in some regards. Had a great time, like just so much content that we got to sift through. So this will take some time. Yeah, and then maybe some other surprising stuff this week. We'll see.
Cool. Joe, what about you?
I don't know. Got some writing I need to do. I was kind of thinking about this earlier. I want to shout out people rather, and direct, points and fingers to where people can maybe consume content that might be, up their alley, instead of just shilling for myself. Go watch Dogman's new show, his podcast. I think that's doing well, so go show him some love. Any anime viewers in chat, go check out Bonsai Pop for some interesting breakdowns of some older and some newer shows. Go check that out. And yeah, go support the lovely content people in the Overwatch space. Go show some love. Go leave a like if you haven't in the past.
Yeah,
get some love going.
Definitely do. Sweet. As for me, you can find me streaming at twitch.tv/Kickedtripod or on YouTube at youtube.com/Kickedtripodyt. We will be, I post some stuff there from time to time. Other than that, just chilling. The Shadow Priest in our raid group, I'm hitting like 90 plus parses. So I'm purple and orange parsing all my parses. But the everybody else has kind of passed me up an item level. So I'm sitting at 200 and these guys are at like 205, 206. And so I'm like 0.2k behind them. And so I'm streaming some more Overwatch League, or not Overwatch, more World of Warcraft, trying to catch up on some of that gear. And then they just announced that our legendary is changing.
Oh, really?
Oh,
They
what?
did the Sims wrong, and Talbadar's stratagem is a better legendary for raiding.
This idiot just got his.
They just announced it in the Warcraft Priest Discord today.
It's so funny.
Still, Eternal Call of the Void is still better for dungeons and other content.
Right. Okay.
So,
That's all I care about. Right.
yeah. I think, at least as far as I understand it, it is. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be updated in the next couple days to know what's going on.
By the way, guys, look in the group chat.
I don't know what this is.
You seen this?
Uh-oh.
This is me on my 188 priest diffing Kenobi with his 195 whatever priest. Get me!
Oh, dude. What did you pop at 1845 or 1914?
Probably just a huge pull. Might have been the the room before last boss, you know, the big one.
I don't know which one this is.
Oh, is this Halls?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, it's the
Based
pull
on the
right
icons.
before the last boss with the ghosts.
Yeah.
I think I pulled like a ton and he just nuked him and Kenobi went.
You know, like where the ghosts turn into the little boiling
Oh,
thingies.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Still working on my horde character. It'll be up soon, hopefully. A lot of
Hurry up,
passion
dude.
projects. Hey, look,
hurry
I'm
up.
trying to PvP gear. I'm trying to level. You know, it's gonna take a bit.
Damn.
I'll be
God
done.
damn it.
You know, next raid tier. I think I'll be ready.
Arcane, about Spike Drop. Spike Drop is on an indefinite hiatus.
I would say so, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not something that we're looking to actively bring back now. We just didn't have time. We really love Valorant esports, and Yiska is obviously still covering it.
Mhm.
It's just
So is Joe.
it was too much time. So is Joe. It was too much. Basically, it's my fault.
That's not
Um,
true. It's
Nah,
tough
nah.
to keep up. That's a
Dude,
lot.
I feel like I have my life back, not
I
doing
know,
3
yeah.
podcasts a weekend while
I know.
working 70 hours each week.
I
Like,
know.
it's-
So yeah, a lot of people have said that they really liked Spike Drop and would love to see it come back. We'd love to bring it back, but
we'll see.
it's just it's a really big time. It's,
You know,
it's
if you're
it's
a
tough.
billionaire, right? If you want to pay me whatever I get, like from the other job I work, I'd totally give up the job to just do podcasts for you. If you're a billionaire, you know, if you're like I'm high on Twitch, like if you want to sponsor my irresponsible life choices, please let me indulge.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. All right, chat. We're out of here. Thanks for hanging out today. Have a great one. We'll be back. I don't know when the next podcast is going to be. I don't know. We're going to try to fit in one more this week because we missed last week, or what we're going to try to do. But we're going to do that. I think we're going to try.
Drinking your water bottle? I'm very thirsty.
All right, we're done.
Mine's
Bye.
empty. Bye.